Greetings everyone, my name is Ayida Honor. Welcome to my YouTube channel, and today I want to talk to you guys about customer service when selling online, more specifically when you're selling jewelry or another product online. And there are 3 tips that I'm going to share today that have helped me when dealing with customers and making sure that the customer is satisfied and happy, and making sure that I'm happy as the person providing the service or the product. Okay, and so the first thing that I want to talk about is communicating with your customer. It is so important to communicate with your customer to make sure that they know exactly what they're going to be receiving so that there's no surprises, and also making sure that if you're doing a custom order, for example, you want to make sure that they know exactly what the final product is going to be so that in the end they are happy with their product. And it also gives you, as the person offering the product, a chance to gauge whether this customer is someone who's just an unhappy person, or whether they just really need something and maybe they're nervous or they're trying to make sure that it's perfect, or you just want to get to know what type of personality you're dealing with, because not every customer is somebody that you want to provide your service to, but you want to be able to provide your service to as many people as possible. But it also gives you a chance to gauge where they're coming from. Okay, so let me give a quick example of dealing with customers. So during a certain time of the year, I get a lot of brides that want jewelry for their special day, for their wedding. And it's so much fun to make jewelry for a woman who's about to get married. And I think it's just awesome. And so one of the things that I've learned is that brides, they really do need to know exactly the colors of the design, how it's going to look with their dress. They just need you to go the extra mile with them. And that's important. It's a very special day that you only get one time. That day only comes one time for that experience. And so I like to be extra patient. I like to make sure that I'm very clear with my customer of what the colors are. Take very good pictures, especially if you're putting together a custom order for them. So like, for example, if I'm making hand jewelry or earrings or necklace or crown for a bride, I want to make sure that the colors are the same colors. If they want them to be exactly the same as their gown, I need to have a picture of their gown. I need to know what the fabric is. I make sure that they know how long it takes for me to make it and everything like that, which goes into number 2 of the tips that I'm going to be talking about. So just make sure that you're communicating as clearly as possible, and make sure that your pictures, if you're selling online, are as clear and close to the exact product that they're receiving as possible. It should be exact. So if I take a picture of jewelry, I have to make sure that it's not blurry. It has to be in natural sunlight or really good lighting so that the person knows they're getting what they see in the picture. And that helps them to feel like you care. You care enough to make sure they're getting a product that is what they see on your website. Okay, so that is dealing with customers. Also, when you're talking about communicating with your customer, make sure that they understand if there are delays, or make sure that they understand that you're not responsible for if something ships out and it's late. If you shipped it on time, then they need to understand that you did your part, but now it's in the hands of the the post office. So it's not much you can do there, except you can either insure your product, or with insurance, ship it with insurance, or ship it with signature confirmation or something like that. So okay, so as far as communicating, make sure that your communication is clear, positive, and make sure that you are very specific about what you're offering them and what they'll be receiving. Okay, so let's get to number 2, turnaround. Okay, so it's not like you can just take something, like somebody can say, I want to buy this, and then you just hand it to them because you have 1,000 of that same product. Or maybe you do, but with me, when I make jewelry, it takes me a while to get the product done to ship it out to the person. So I have come up with a turnaround time that works for me. Also, I have a big family. I homeschool. I have other things that I have to do as well. But I want them to know that they are important. My customers are important. They're special. I want to make sure that they feel special and they feel important and that they're satisfied. So my turnaround is 2 weeks. I have a 2-week turnaround for anything that's made to order, and most of my jewelry is made to order. This allows me to make sure that I make whatever it is I'm making for that person as good as possible. I want to put my best effort into it, and I also don't want to rush. I don't rush through beadwork because it just doesn't look as good when you're rushing through your product and creating your product. So my turnaround is 2 weeks. I have that listed on every single item on my website, whether it's ready to ship or it takes 2 weeks and then it will be shipped after that 2-week period is up. My customers know that. And also I go even beyond that and I email them and say, okay, thank you so much for purchasing such and such. Please be patient because my turnaround is 2 weeks from the date of purchase, and once your item is completed, it will be shipped to you. And I also let them know that if you need a rush order for a specific date, if you need to get it to you sooner, then there's an extra fee that you can pay. So we go back and forth, we communicate, and they know what they're getting. They know when they're getting it, approximately when they're getting it. Okay, so that's turnaround. It's really important to have that because you don't want to feel like you have to rush everything, and you want your product to be quality product. So if you have a quality product, then you want to make sure that you take the time to create whatever it is you're creating so that the customer is satisfied. Okay, number 3, shipping. Okay, so with shipping, once you've communicated with your customer, you've created the item that you're making for them, and the turnaround is up. You have marked on your calendar, say, okay, it needs to be shipped by this date. I keep a calendar where I know exactly when things need to be shipped off. And I keep that calendar up on the wall in the kitchen so that my husband, he can write down what he needs to do throughout the week. So I'll be aware of his schedule and he knows when I need to ship out. So he's aware of my schedule. Okay, so now it's shipping. Okay, what I do with shipping, let me just take you through a quick process. I wrap the item. Let's just go down to my tray. Excuse everything else. I just did a few other videos. Okay, I wrapped my items in bubble wrap. Then I tape it and tape the product into the bubble wrap. Wrap that inside of this pretty paper, tissue paper for wrapping presents. Then I like to tie a string around that as a decoration. Okay, and then it goes into a padded envelope with padding inside, bubble wrapping inside. I also add a business card. AyidaHonor.com, hey. Add the business card, and I also ship with their invoice. I print out their invoice, sign it, and tell them thank you very much. If there's any special notes about their specific product, about adjusting it to fit or anything else, I will sign it and add that in there too. And then I will write their address on a label. I actually got these from my mother-in-law. She works at the post office, so she always brings us these, which is awesome. And I write my return address. So you have my address at the top, of course. You guys know that part about mailing it, and then I tape that on because I've had one situation where the address label got pulled off during transit, and it never got to the customer. It came back to me. So we were talking back and forth. I went back to communication. We talked back and forth, and I made sure that I tracked it down, and it came back to me. And so now I always put tape over my labels, okay, to make sure that they don't get lost in shipping. Okay, and so now these are the things you get from the post office. You have your signature confirmation cards or forms for depending on how much the product costs. And I normally just ship with insurance. I only do signature confirmation if someone asks. I do insurance forms because I want to make sure the product is insured, but that's up to you whether you do that or not. This is the form for when you're shipping international. Okay, so that's basically it. And that's how I pack my items up to ship. And those are my 3 tips. Okay, communication, your turnaround time, and shipping. Okay, so make sure that you communicate with your customers, keep it positive. If you feel like the person is super negative and it's hard to please them, you get to decide whether this is a customer you want to work with. There have been times when I've said, okay, I can't work with this person. I can't please them. They're not going to be happy. I let them know I wish I could help you, but I can't. And I just let them know, I wish you well and have a wonderful day. But then there are other customers who I just can't believe how awesome they are, and I go out of my way for my customers. I want to make sure that they're happy, because I would want to be happy if it was me. So I hope that these tips as far as customer service and selling online have been helpful, and I want to wish you guys a happy day, and I'll see you soon. Peace.